Hey there, Tubies. It's Aisha. Welcome back to the channel. Today is VEDA Day 1, which is the introduction video. And guess what? This is my announcement that I'm doing VEDA. 2019. Vlog every day in August. Yes. So I'm going to try to vlog every day in August. What I tend to end up doing is vlogging way too much and then not taking the time to edit. So you guys don't see all the videos, but I do all of them. So this one is going to be a TBR video. Okay. So one of the ways in which I've been really kicking ass in reading, I didn't really do well in July because I haven't really been feeling the need to read. In July, I really wanted to read. I kind of felt the need to read nonfiction, and yet I didn't feel the need to pick up books. So I read the ones that I read and I enjoyed my reading month, but it's the least amount of books I've read all year. So I decided to go back to basics, follow the prompts that were working for me, and read the books that really made me happy. So we're going to do a couple of things. So for my Brenda Jackson reads, I'm supposed to read 4 Brenda Jackson books a month. So 2 of the ones that I picked up to read are books that are not part of a series, so I should be able to read these really quickly and get them read and moved off the shelf. And the first one is called Stranded with a Tempting Stranger, and this is a duology. This is her book, and then a new author to me is Catherine Mann. So I'm only going to be reading Brenda's book because that's what I'm here for. And I had sticky notes on there which tell me that this is a collab book, but it's not necessarily part of a series that I want to read, so I can read it as a standalone. Then the next one, this one is also a collab series, but this is the first in the series, and this is called Star of His Heart. It's part of the Love in the Limelight series with Brenda Jackson and several other authors. This is a Kamani romance. I'll definitely be reading this one this month. And then I have 2 Westmoreland family series to read as well. So I'm trying not to read series because that's like bogging me down. So I'm trying to grab like single titles by her that I can just gobble up and, you know, move them off the shelves. Then I decided I also wanted to really kick ass on my top 19 list because I looked at my list. I did look at my list and realized that I've kind of stalled out, so I need to get back into making sure I'm kicking off at least 1 nonfiction and 1 fiction per month. So the fiction that is on there is A Princess Theory by Alyssa Cole, and if you I don't think you've seen it yet, but I recorded a haul vlog where I hauled all the books in the series. So I'm going to be reading this series. Alyssa Cole is an author that I've read before. I read an erotica by her before. So I know she's a fantastic writer, and I follow her on Twitter and Facebook, and I love her. So I'm going to be reading her books, her contemporaries, as well as her historical novel series. But first, I want to read this. This is on my list of 19 books I want to read. So I'm going to read this. So also from that list of 19 books that I want to read, I grabbed 2 of my nonfictions. So these are the things that I want to read, and I feel like I'm going to devastate myself. It's kind of the reason I've been avoiding them, is these are books about spiritual improvements and changes and psychological improvement and changes, and it's just, when you start to dig deep, it becomes exhausting. But it's essential for you to continue to grow in your life. So this is Souls Revealed, a Souls of My Sister's book of revelations and tools for healing your life, soul, and spirit by Dawn Marie Daniels and Candace Sandy. And I have all her other works, so I definitely want to dive into this. The next one that's on the list is called Jambalaya, and this is by Lucia Tish. I'm sorry that I butchered that. And Jambalaya is The Natural Woman's Books of Personal Charms and Practical Rituals. And one of the things I've been talking to um, my therapist about is loving the fact that the world seems to be coming to an awakening, and that things that were once considered fringe or weird or out there are now being talked about by everyday people, about self-love and self-care, and talking about therapy and all of that. So I definitely wanted to grab this and start working my way through it. Just This has been on my list for years of books that I wanted to get, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna start ordering the books that are on my wish list. And I grabbed it. So it's a marvelous blend of memoir, folk wisdom, and Afro-American beliefs. So I'm gonna definitely check this out. So that's another one. So those are 3 from my list. 2 Brenda Jackson prompts. And then this one, this is also on my list of 19 books I want to read this year. And this one is supposed to be a book about an immigrant, I believe. It's by Rene Watson. It's a young adult. It's really small. But what I've been learning is a lot of the new young adult that's coming out by authors of color, just because they're small, don't mean they're not devastating. So I want to check this one out. And that is another of the fiction titles that are on my 19 list. 19 books that I want to read this year. Then I am also taking part in the Holly Black read-along. I think I'm behind. I think this was supposed to be July's read, but I didn't get to it. So this is The Darkest Part of the Forest, and we're reading her fairy books until the newest book in the Cruel Prince series comes out. So I have to catch up. I have to read this, and I did not finish Valiant, which is book 2. So I accidentally read the 3rd book thinking it was the 2nd book. So I've kind of resolved the story for myself, but there's still questions because there's stuff that happens in here that they hint at in the 3rd book. So I definitely want to read it. So I'm going to be finishing Valiant, and then I'm going to read Darkest Part of the Forest. But yeah. And I just love Holly Black's fairies. I love that her fairies are complex and complicated and dark as hell, which is what fairies are supposed to be. So there's that. Another book that I'm in the middle of that I want to finish this, because this is a summer book, and it's got a nice buttery soft cover. And if I read this, then I have just one book by her that I haven't read. And I'm pretty sure I've read that one too, but I'm going to reread it just in case I haven't read it. And that's Lost Lake by Sarah Addison Allen. I am 63 pages in, and this is a summer book. This is a woman that is dealing with divorce, takes her daughter and goes to this summer camp that she remembers. And Sarah Addison Allen does magical realism really well, so I am looking forward to finishing this summer in August. Another book that I started and I want to definitely get back into reading. I had started to catch up on this series. This is The Exhibitionist by Tara Sumi. I read 3 books in May and absolutely loved them. These are such fantastic BDSM erotica romances. This is her series that bridges the gap from the trilogy, the Submissive trilogy, into the Partners in Play series. And this is one of the Partners in Play where they're playing with this group of people in this like BDSM club. But it's still the main couple from the original story. This is their exploration of being a married, committed BDSM couple. So I loved the series when I was reading it, and I love the books when I'm reading them. But I always feel like, oh, I'm supposed to be reading this, and this isn't really on my list. Screw it. This is going on my list. And if I finish this one, then I'm definitely reading the next one that comes after this, because I own 2 more in the series. So I want to read to what I own and then reward myself for having finished them by getting the rest of the series. So yes, so this is The Exhibitionist, and this is Abby and Nathaniel's erotica romance. Talking about finishing series, I'm pulling this one. This is Don't Tempt Me by Sylvia Day. I had this on my list for the last 2 months. This is the final book in the Gregorian series. I've kind of read it and spoiled myself a little. I'm on page 79. This is the fourth and final book in the Gregorian historical romance series. I'm on page 79, and it's not a lot left. And when you're reading Sylvia Day, it just flies by because it's so gripping when you're in it. I've forgotten what I spoiled myself on, so I'm more likely to finish it this month because of that. So that's the second book that I've been reading that I want to complete. Then I grabbed 2 books from my summer titles list that I want to work on because I figured these are small and I can really knock these out. And this is Sarah Dessen. Apparently I accidentally bent the pages. And this is called That Summer. So literally picked it up because it's a summer book, and it's Sarah Dessen, and everyone always mentions her whenever they're talking about young adult romance books that they love, or young adult books that they love. So I have her entire catalog, and I'm trying to work my way through it. So this one is going to be great for the summer. And then I grabbed this one as well, and this is Elia Dawn Johnson's The Summer Prince. I have this one and another book that she wrote, and I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, but it's called The Summer Prince, and just look at that cover, like the shimmeriness on that cover. Yeah, so yeah. And then I just have a few more that I would like to take on. These are definite reads. These I would like to take on. I know I'm not going to finish one of these in the month, but definitely want to take on and read. So this is Emma Ristall Orr's The Principles of Jewelry, the only introduction you'll ever need. And I feel like I need a reset and to start over at the beginning, to give myself going back to basics. So I'm definitely picking this up and rereading and making my way through, highlighting, making sure I understand the basic principles of everything, and then I'm going to compound it by going further and reading others. Sometimes I feel like you need to reset and restart from the beginning. Make sure you have the basics and the foundation set, and then continue to grow. I like to refresh my memory every once in a while, because you do something for long enough, you tweak it to how it works for you, and then you realize, well, been saying this wrong for a while, or been doing this wrong. There's no one to check you. So I like to recheck myself every once in a while and make sure that, you know, I am doing what works for me while also staying within the confines of what is known and accepted. And then this one, I've been starting and stopping this one for a while. And this one is Seasons of the Sacred Earth by Cliff Serentine. I'm sorry, said it wrong. This is a gentleman sharing his life on the farm, a family farm, and breaking it down based on the seasons. And if this is not the way to reset and rewind and remember what we're here for, then I don't know what is. So it's kind of an autobiography, it's kind of an autobiography, kind of a biography, a bit of a gardening book, and how to kind of be a green warrior at the same time. And the cover is just stunning to me. So definitely gonna be reading this throughout the month of August. I definitely don't think I will finish it in August, but getting it started in August is my goal. And then I have a few books that I'm like, they're small enough, I want to kind of just focus on reading these on the weekends and getting them knocked off my shelf. So I have 6 books by Kimberly, Lawson, Roby that are not part of the Curtis Black series. And this is A Taste of Reality, Best Friends Forever, The Perfect Marriage, A Deep Dark Secret, 1 in a Million, and Copycat. These are books that are not necessarily part of the Curtis Black series. These are short stories. I've collected them from everywhere, from library book sales, from Book Outlet, from thrift books. So this is a former Borders book. And I just want to get these read. They look like they're going to be good stories. I can tell you that I started this one, A Deep Dark Secret, and I was not prepared. I had not read the synopsis, and I was not prepared, so I had to put it down because it was triggering. But now that I know and I remember what it's about, I'm going to go in a little more prepared and be able to take it on. But I definitely want to read these. First of all, because I really need to work on the cube. I've been working on the Brenda Jackson and the Beverly Jenkins cube, and that is one of 9 cubes on the shelf. So I really need to start working on the cubes, which are behind me. This is my blackout bookshelf, and I really need to work on the books that are in there. And then one of the other books that's in there, but not in this contemporary series, in the contemporary cube. This is from the sci-fi cube, and this is A Blade So Black, and it is supposed to be a Alice in Wonderland retelling. You can see the heart, and you can't really see it on camera, but there is a like chevron pattern that is running up and down the back. So this is blurbed by Angie Thomas, and I remember hearing about this and thinking it sounded really cool, so I pre-ordered it, and I want to get it read. So that is another one of, I think this one came out this year, the beginning of this year, so I want to get it read. And that's it. I also have the Austin in August read along that I want to take part in, and I really want to read arcs this month. I have 5 arcs that I really want to get read and reviewed. Not going to share their names just in case I don't get to them, but I do have 5 arcs that I want to work on. So we've got We've got 22 titles here that I've shared with you guys, and 2 more titles from Brenda Jackson that I need to read. So that'll be 24 that I want to try to get to. Will I? I did really well in June, and I did really well in May. July was the one month that was like kind of low. It is the lowest month I had. But there's a variety of things here, so I think I will have enough to get me going. But yes, so that is what I'd like to read for the month of July. Sorry, the month of August. Let me know if you read any of these, or if you want to buddy read any of these. Share it in the comments down below. All my links to social media are linked down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.